Okay, I'm back out in the shop here. My last video showing how to square up a block, there was a few questions that were brought up, and I'm going to attempt to answer them. But anyway, I'm going to square up another block today. I'm going to start with just a, and I'm not sure where my calipers is at. Well, there it is. It's basically inch and a half. It's inch and a half square stock is what it is. But today, before I start, I am going to double check the dial in of my head and make sure that it is dialed in, and I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't, when you're the only one running the machine, and it's different like when I was working out in the shop, you never knew what the other guy did, you know. 9 times out of 10, he wouldn't tell you if you bumped it anyway, because he didn't want to be bothered with, if he was done, he didn't want to be bothered with dialing it in. So, you know, and when you got your own, when you're working, the only one running the machine, you know if it's been bumped or not. But anyway, I'm going to take and put a indicator in my spindle here, and we'll just see what we come up with. Doesn't have to be tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swing across the vise here, the base of the vise, bottom of the vise, and I'm just going to reach out as far as the indicator will reach here. Okay, and I'll bring that up to 0. There's 0. Let's see if I can get you over here so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so there's 0 right there. And then I'll swing it around to the back side. Hard to turn that with a, I'll reach up and turn it with a belt here. And if you look, it's really close to 0. I mean, it's within tenths. All right, so that's on y-axis. Now we'll check x-axis. So we'll just swing it over here. It looks like that might be not quite a half a thou. Yeah, it's not quite a half a thousandths off. So we should be set to go here. Another question that was brought up was knowing the sides of the block, the last 2 operations. So you square up all the way around and then mill the sides. What happens if I don't have a long enough end mill? I won't be able to do that, you know. I got to use a square to square it in the vise, or no, that's not true. Today I'm going to take an end mill. I don't have a real short 3/4 inch end mill, so I wrapped a little tape around it, and what I have here is probably less than an inch. I'm not sure. So I got 700 thousandths exposed. So I'm going to pretend, and we'll pretend like this end mill is only 700 thou long, 3/4 inch, 700 thou long. And I'll take the indicator out, lay that over in the surface plate. And then there was talk about me using a drill bit. Well, if it's laying handy, I'll grab it. Normally, no, I don't use a drill bit. I'll use a round diameter of stock, but there's nothing wrong with using a drill bit. Yes, drill bits are tapered, but they are so slight. You'll have enough movement in your movable jaw to make up for that little bit of taper in a drill. So I don't see anything wrong with using a drill. It's not going to hurt it. You're not going to tighten the crap out of it. That's just one of the things that so. Okay, so anyway, enough of that. We'll set this up here so you can see what's going on. All right. So I put the block in there, and again, I need something round. Okay, since I can't use a drill or don't want to use a drill bit, I will use. Naturally, if I got here, a stud, half-inch stud. That'll work just fine. I'll just put it in here. Do you want to hold it kind of in the middle of it? Oh, and another thing, picking the first side to put back to the jaw. If this block had a bunch of angles and one side was really rough, one side was smooth, pick the smoothest side, the flattest side, and put that to the back. And the flattest side to the back, the next flattest side down on the parallels. That's how I pick anyway. And I put this in here and just, again, don't over tighten, just snug. And we'll put the end mill in. And tighten that up. There was also a comment about not extending the quill. 100% right. You want to keep the quill as short as possible, especially if you're hogging material. If you're doing just little light cuts, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt to extend the quill. But if I was like hogging a bunch of material off, running it all day long with it like that, no, you don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to touch again, get it off the material. I'm going to crank it up about 10 thousandths. Oops. Don't loosen that up. All right. I want to make sure I get the whole part. And sometimes it is nice to, if you're not hogging material, to be able to go along the back, bring it in so you don't have a burr hanging on there. I agree with that. But if you're doing a heavy cut, push to the back jaw. You want to put your pressure on the back jaw. All right, so that's side one. Take it out and just rotate it to the back. There's no burr on it because we avoided that. Again, this part really didn't need the diameter, but I'm putting it in there anyway. Okay, that's two sides. Side number 3. Now we have the side that we just cut, we're putting down on the parallel. And now I'll have to crank it up another 10 thousandths. Now for last side, I don't need this anymore. I don't need the diameter in front because these two sides here are parallel to each other. So I no longer need that. Okay, now should be all square all the way around. Now to do the ends, we don't have an end mill long enough to do the ends. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to put it in here and we're going to hang it out the side. And here's a little tidbit. If you have a part that's shorter than, you have to have a part longer than more than half of your vise. In other words, this part, if it doesn't extend beyond the center of your movable jaw, you need to put something in here of very similar size. Because if you don't, this jaw can move enough to where you're only clamping on the back side and you're not clamping here, and it'll just tip right up. So if it's a short part like that, I just grab an adjustable parallel. And basically stick that in there and expand it till it, well, wait a minute here. Wait. Take it up till your vise just touches first. Then put it in here and adjust it till it just touches. So now you just tighten it up a little bit. And we're going to come over here and we're going to adjust it down, you know, our diameter of or length of our cutter. Since our cutter is only 700 thou, so that's about what it's going to be. Go over here and touch. You don't have to make a big cut. Just touch to clean it up. Okay, so now now that is cleaned up down to the length of our cutter. Loosen her up, take it out of there. Now what you need to do, since this is only, we just touched and just barely, we need to take and put a small parallel tool bit or something along that edge to set it on. And okay, I just got an old lathe tool bit here. I'm just going to set that in there. Now when you put this part in here, you're going to rest this down on that either parallel or whatever you have that's parallel with the square side, because these two sides are square now, and it's square. This side's square to there, and it's square all the way around. So go ahead and we put that down, tighten her up. Come over here. And we'll put her down until she touches. A little more. Clean up that whole side. Okay, now I gotta deburr this. I do have a burr on it now. So I'll just hit the burrs off of here. Okay. And now we just take and flip it 180, and you can either take that parallel out of down there, or you can leave it there. If you leave it there, your height is already kind of set for you. And I'm just going to take another 10. And there you have it. Now this block is square all the way around. And there was talk about, well, is it really truly square? You want me to use a square to check it? Well, I'll do you one better. I'm going to take it to the surface plate, and we'll clamp it against the knee, and we'll check it there. So I'm going to set up the camera over there and at the surface plate, and we'll check to see if it's square. Okay, we're at the surface plate over here now, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check to see if these two sides, the long sides, are square. So what I'm going to do is get my caliper out of the way, I guess. Grab a parallel. I'm going to grab a parallel, set that up against the knee. I'm going to put the block on here, and then I'm going to clamp it. I'm going to clamp that surface up to the knee, and now I know the knee is square. So tighten that up, get the parallel out of there, and then we'll get the high stand over here, and we'll come down on it. And then we want to go past and bring it back up. If you're running on a surface plate, you always want to go past. You always want to take the slop out of your needle going up. Okay, so let's zoom in here on this and see if I can show you that it's not really well, I guess. I know, maybe just a minute. I'm going to move you over to the other side. I kind of got you looking down at the part here. Just a second here. Acting up a little bit. All right. So now I've got the block on the knee. And oops, I got such a small ball on that needle that, alright, so I'll zero the indicator out there. Hopefully you can see that. My parallel must have moved after I put it on my parallel. Let me try clamping it up again here. Should probably just left the parallel underneath it. Come on. For crying out loud. If you drop it on the surface plate and put dings in it, yeah, it won't read square then. I just ran the stone over it. Dropped it and dinged it on the surface plate. Trying to reach over the surface plate here and clamp this. Okay. Alright. 0. Okay, we got 0 there. That crack in that dial kind of let's line up. I'll line up on a different number so you can see. I'll line up on 10. Okay, so we're on right there, and here we're just well, you move the indicator around a little bit. It's well within I'd say 2/10 of being perfectly square. Okay, so now we'll check the end. You know, the end where we went ahead and milled a little spot because our end mill wasn't long enough. And we'll see how that is to everything. And we'll bring it back to 10. Okay, there's 10 right there, and 10 right there, 10 right there. Matter of fact, that's even less than 2/10 there. So, like I say, you don't need a long end mill to reach all the way across. You just need to mill a spot, put it on the parallel, and do it from there. It's long end mills. When you're squaring up a block, you really don't. It's not necessary. But like I say, do remember that if you got a short piece like this, it's shorter than half that vise. You know, make sure that you put something on the other side, because you know that can end up being a problem for you, especially if you do any material removal at all. It could, because you're basically clamping on the corner of the part because the vise is given, and so now you're only clamping on the corner, so it can just flop right up on you. So I hope that clears up, how to mill an end, and with a short end mill. I never used any more than I used, less than the 700,000ths of the end mill, and got a square part that's, inch and a half, or what was it, inch and a half or inch and 3/4 thick. So it can be done very simple. It's going all the way down. It's quicker. You have one cut more that you have to make, but it's no big deal. And I don't like using a square to try to square something up in a vise, and because no matter how hard you try, I just don't believe that you're ever going to get it 100% square with a square and they're looking at it. It's I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'd rather let the machine do the precision of it and not me having to tweak it one way or another. So anyway, that'll be squaring up a block number 2. We'll see what kind of questions I get and comments I get on this one. I'm only doing this just to try to show you the way that I do it. Whether I've been doing it for a long time, whether I'm doing it right or wrong, it's always worked for me. I'm not showing you something that doesn't work. This has worked for 42 years for me, so whether it's in the book somewhere or not, it works. Because there's a lot to be said that sometimes there's something in a book that says, oh yeah, you can just do this, and you'll get it. But that's only in a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world. There's always imperfections in everything. So, you have to kind of tweak things one way or another for those imperfections. Anyway, enough rambling. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.